Howdeshell,
Here.
Rogers,
Here.
Schmidt, Whitaker,
Here.
Wright,
Here.
Godwin,
Here.
Hensley.
Here.
Welcome to Greenville City Council. Let's all please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May be seated. Approval of the minutes. You all received copies emailed to you of the minutes. Any additions or corrections? I think you mailed out a correction, didn't you? Everyone received that, so they will stand approved as presented. Approval of the current financial report you received electronically, and I also have a copy of the auditor's report for the month of December. I need a motion to accept that.
So moved.
Motion, Mrs. Howdeshell, to accept the current financial report from the auditor's office. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Howdeshell,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes.
Approval of the agenda. As you can see, we're pretty lengthy this evening, particularly in ordinance and resolutions, and I need to add two more. So under ordinance and resolutions, we'll add item number 16, which is an ordinance ratifying the contract for the emergency communications officers. And item 17 will be an ordinance ratifying the contract for the maintenance workers, i.e. street department. And that's it, right? Okay, so those are the two additions. Other than that, that's all I have.
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Motion by Mrs. Howdeshell to approve the agenda as amended. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Howdeshell,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Hensley.
Yes.
Public hearing. We have nothing scheduled at this time. Anyone wishing to address council may do so. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address and what you have to say. No one's busting the doors down, so we'll move on to the mayor's report, administrative reports. Mr. Mayor.
Oh, a couple old things. Tomorrow night, Wednesday, is the gathering of the group of citizens, or they call themselves Citizens for Safer Streets. They'll be at the VFW at 7 p.m. Talking about neighborhood watch and that type of thing again. Anybody wants to go to that? The Main Street, if you didn't realize, Christmas almost here, so you got a last chance to see Santa at the coffee pot on Saturday, 1 to 3. New Year's Eve celebration at Romer's, also a city public event, so don't want to get something, tickets to go to that. It's a little expensive, like $50 or something like that, so. But I thought maybe later on then in the meeting that we might hear a little bit about the Burkett family winning a window display.
Really? Do tell.
So I passed.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, sir. Safety Service Director, Mr. Garrison.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Good evening, Council. Two things to discuss this evening. Was approached yesterday afternoon by Mr. Mike, I believe it was Mike Mannix from Mannix Construction, who has been contracted by the homeowner at 1038 Wayne Avenue. And it was discovered that the sewer lateral for 1038 and 1036 Wayne Avenue are one and the same. It would be standard customary practice within the city that each property has its own sanitary sewer lateral. The reason that they were able to discover this is that there is a breakdown in the street of that lateral, and neither home currently have sewer services because of the break in the street. Therefore, this matter is of an urgent need, and it needs to be resolved. However, due to city regulations, the regulations would state that in separating the two homes. One of the homes, yet to be determined, would need to pay a sewer tap fee as it would be a new tap. The request from Mr. Mannix, who cannot be with us this evening, and the homeowner who works second shift, was asking for this presentation in front of council and asking for a waiver of the tap fee, as both homeowners are now going to have to incur the expense of putting in new sewer laterals, which is, they feel, somewhat expensive, and the added burden of the tap fee they would like to see waived. The tap fee, I believe, off the top of my head, $13.75 is the cost of a tap when it comes to sewer. Couple things to keep in mind. I am not necessarily here advocating for the waiver of the sewer fee. I am simply bringing the request before council. I would tell you that it is customary practice in the water department, if we had a particular home that was turned into a duplex, but it would be an older home. The home was a single-family residence at one point. At another point, the property most likely transferred ownership. It was large enough that they wanted to turn the home into a two-family. And prior zoning code allowed them to do that. But when they did that, they separated the water inside the house. So the house itself was serviced by one line, and then it went to 2 meters inside the home, and then would service each resident. When we were doing the meter project, and other times it has come up, and a homeowner wanted to separate the water service because that would give us the ability to shut off. If one side was delinquent, we could shut the one side off and leave the other side active. If, in the old situation, if one side became delinquent in payment, we had no opportunity to shut them off, because if we shut them off, we would be shutting off the person who paid their bill on time. Therefore, we strongly suggested and we required, if there was any significant work inside, that the property owner would install a new water lateral or a new water tap, new service line. When they did that, we required them to pay the tap-in fee, as it was a new water service, it was a new tap. I feel that those situations are very similar. I feel that we would be setting a precedent if we decided to make that change and waive that particular tap fee. However, I did state to the individual that I would bring his concern to council, and we would have a discussion this evening as to whether or not we could waive that tap fee.
That tap fee includes any material-wise that you have to have, the tap itself.
With the sewer line, it's a little bit different than the water service because there's nothing under pressure. It's a matter of digging a hole, drilling into the existing sewer line, basically making a connection, mortar around it. There's no sleeve to purchase. So the short answer to your question is there really isn't any special material that's needed. It's basically just pipe in the ground.
Any other questions from council?
How long has it been this way?
A while. This is the second plumber that's been involved in this situation, so I'm not sure how folks are living in these two properties. $13.75.
Seems like there was some down on East Water Street that was in the same situation here back a few years ago. Do you remember whether there was a tap-in fee for it?
There would have been. I mean, I don't remember the exact situation, but a tap fee wouldn't have been waived unless it came to council.
It's a tough call.
If we would have that assigned to the utility committee, that's just going to drag it out considerably, isn't it?
Correct.
And they have really no sanitary sewer at this time.
Honestly, I don't know how they're living there, if they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one gentleman that contacted Mr. Mannix, it's actually a landlord-tenant situation, and it's his mom that lives in the house.
Oh, okay.
Who do we waive the tap-in fee to? I know we've waived it on several occasions. Who do we
Property
waive
owner.
it to?
Property owner pays.
That hasn't been waived on several occasions. We've done some commercial.
Commercial.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was,
Commercial, not
Yeah.
necessarily residential.
that's what I was getting at, just commercial.
Right.
This is a rental.
One is, and then the one is owner occupied. And again, yet to be determined, I think, which one's going to pay, or they may end up, there was some conversation that they may end up splitting, that the contractor would just pay it, and then he would just add that to his bill, and they're going to split the cost.
Because that'd be setting like a precedence for anybody else that comes up and has a issue with the sewer.
Yeah.
Well, I think the precedent would be if we waive it.
Yeah.
If we don't waive it, then we're following
Protocol.
Our
practice, what our ordinance says.
I would think it'd be best to go ahead and keep the tap-in fee and let them work it out however they, feel it's necessary.
Okay.
Let's not set a precedent.
I was going to say, where do you draw the line on something like that? That would be the tough call. My natural inclination at Christmas time in particular would be to consider it, but if you do, I mean, you open up a whole Pandora's box.
Then the second request was if council determined that the tap fee needed to be paid at the last committee assignment to the utility committee, and about the homes on 49 South, was to do that tap-in fee over a period of time and assess it to their water bill over so many months. Would council be willing to entertain that?
I would.
And what would that term be?
What figured that up to be is over,
It was, what we did in the committee was 8 payments or 2 years,
yeah.
Okay.
because you make quarterly payments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it. We did it for those.
Yeah, as long as it gets paid.
Okay. We'll have legislation to the fact at the next, probably at the next meeting, but if you're okay with that, I'm going to want to go ahead and let them get started.
That would be prudent.
Okay. And then the last thing, I caught wind before the council meeting that we were talking about, or I wasn't, Leon was having a conversation about Rumpke and trash and what the contract says. Ironically, this evening, I needed to make a request of council. The 3-year contract is soon to expire. Well, not soon, but at the end of April. And we have a clause in our contract for a 1-year extension. I believe they have the right to raise fees at a certain rate. I believe that fee is 3%. But we do have that clause in there and at the sole discretion of the city. Rumpke has nothing in it, but at the sole discretion of the city, if we choose to, we can re-up for 1 more year or extend the contract for 1 more year. Is that what council would like to do? Or would you like to have legislation at the first meeting in January stating that, or authorizing myself to rebid the refuse contract?
You think anybody else would bid on
I can't answer that question.
Who else is around to bid?
Best Way, had a very long conversation with Best Way. However, they didn't feel that, they're set up more for automated, and previously the city was not inclined to mandate automation because we wanted to keep the bags. So they found that to be problematic.
So renew them,
Pardon?
renew it for a year.
Well, I have the just permit the safety service director to continue or to go ahead with negotiations?
Yeah, I believe previously when we have done this, we brought just a small piece of legislation that stated, so that we could send something to Rumpke, that stated we're extending the contract for 1 year.
If they're gonna break the contract on the time-wise, why do we even have a contract?
The contract, I mean, I hear what you're saying, Mr. Rogers, but the contract sets the price for the citizens.
I understand that, but, you know, if they're not gonna honor the contract, they expect us to honor it.
And I have a meeting, we collectively have a meeting with them the first part of January. We'll be more than happy to express your concerns about that to the.
If they
to the
wanna
upper
start
man-
at 6 o'clock, then put it at 6 o'clock in the
Sure.
contract.
Understand.
So, 'cause like I said, you know, they're breaking their contract, and they're the ones that had the contract.
Right.
So if they've got to sign on the dotted line, the city has to sign on the dotted line, then it's time they honor their contract.
Okay. We'll pass that along. With that, Mr. Council President, I will pass.
Okay, thank you. Law Director, Mr. Brand.
I wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a happy 2019, and with that, I pass.
Thank you, sir. And City Auditor, Mrs. Wilman.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Since it is the end of the year, we won't see each other again until 2019. I do want to wish everybody here and in the viewing audience a Merry Christmas and a happy and healthy New Year. With that, I pass.
Thank you. Thank you for the goodies additionally as well. Yum, yum. Okay, moving on to committee reports. We have two to consider tonight. First is out of the Finance Committee regarding review of meal reimbursements for the city of Greenville.
A report dated December 12th, 2018. Honorable members, we hereby submit our report. The Finance Committee met on December 12th, 2018 to review current meal reimbursement rates for the city of Greenville. The committee reviewed the meal reimbursement rates from many other cities, villages, and townships. The committee recommends changing the meal reimbursement rates as follows. Breakfast $10, lunch $15, dinner $20, plus up to an additional 20% gratuity for each meal. The committee also recommends that the law director prepare the necessary legislation. Respectfully submitted, Committee on Finance, Chairman John Hensley, Member Jeff Whitaker.
Move to accept the committee report.
Motion from Mr. Rogers to accept the committee report. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Howdeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Is that legislation prepared? Okay. Then it'll have to be considered at the next meeting. Next, the Finance Committee review of the Safety Service Director's salary.
A report dated December 12th, 2018. Honorable members, we hereby submit our report. The Finance Committee met on December 12th, 2018 to review the Safety Service Director's salary. After careful consideration and lengthy discussion, the committee recommends to council to leave the Safety Service Director's compensation as it currently is. Respectfully submitted, Committee on Finance, Chairman John Hensley, and Member Jeff Whitaker.
Make a motion to accept the committee report?
Motion by Mr. Godwin to accept the committee's report. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Howdeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
No.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-1. Okay, that concludes our committee reports. Moving on to 17 ordinances and resolutions. So get yourself an eggnog, you know, an extra bowl of popcorn, sit back and relax, because here we go. Okay, first we have an ordinance, supplemental appropriations.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2018. This ordinance authorizes appropriations to the general fund for salaries, mayor's office in the amount of $800, superintendent department head salaries, police department in the amount of $1,000, salary safety service director in the amount of $1,250, salary safety service director secretary in the amount of $800. These funds are needed to cover salaries through December 31st, 2018.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this ordinance and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion from Mr. Godwin, to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title, second, third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2018. An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2018.
Motion to accept this ordinance, or adopt this ordinance, I'm sorry.
Motion by Mrs. Howdy to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
And next, we have a transfer ordinance.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville. This ordinance allows a transfer to the general fund from professional services program data processing in the amount of $3,500 to new equipment data processing in the amount of $3,500. This transfer is needed to purchase switches for the phone system, and from equipment maintenance police department in the amount of $3,000 to uniforms police department in the amount of $3,000. This transfer is needed to outfit a new police officer, and to the Public Transportation Fund from Gas, Oil, and Supplies Transit in the amount of $900 to Department Head Salaries Transit in the amount of $900. This transfer is needed to cover salaries through December 31st, 2018.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on that ordinance and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title, second, third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright? Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville. An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Next, we have temporary appropriations ordinance, and that is necessary for us to operate after January 1, 2019.
An ordinance to make temporary appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, Ohio for 2019 until not later than March 31st, 2019, and the regular appropriations ordinance for the year 2019 is passed. And after the regular annual appropriation ordinance is passed, this ordinance shall be null and void. This ordinance allows for temporary appropriations of the City of Greenville, Ohio for 2019 until no later than March 31st, 2019, and the regular appropriations ordinance for the year 2019 is passed.
Move to suspend the rules and read this ordinance second and third time by title only.
Motion by Mrs. Howdy to suspend the rules and read the ordinance by title, second, third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
An ordinance to make temporary appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, Ohio for 2019 until not later than March 31st, 2019, and the regular appropriations ordinance for the year 2019 is passed. And after the regular annual appropriation ordinance is passed, this ordinance shall be null and void. An ordinance to make temporary appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, Ohio for 2019 until not later than March 31st, 2019, and the regular appropriations ordinance for the year 2019 is passed. And after the regular annual appropriation ordinance is passed, this ordinance shall be null and void.
Move to adopt the ordinance?
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
And next, we have an ordinance establishing the salary to be paid for the mayor for the term commencing January the 1st, 2020.
An ordinance establishing the salary to be paid to the mayor of the City of Greenville, Ohio for the term commencing January 1st, 2020. This ordinance adopts annual wages for the position of mayor for the term commencing January 1st, 2020. The wages are based upon a Finance Committee report accepted at the December 4th, 2018 meeting.
Move to suspend the rules, give this ordinance second and third reading by title only.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title, second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
An ordinance establishing the salary to be paid to the mayor of the City of Greenville, Ohio for the term commencing January 1st, 2020. An ordinance establishing the salary to be paid to the mayor of the City of Greenville, Ohio for the term commencing January 1st, 2020.
Move to adopt this ordinance.
Motion by Mrs. Haudashell to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Haddashell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Just a note, all of the next several ordinances establishing salaries, the beginning in 2020, this council chose to do this prior to the end of this year because all of these positions are up for election in the year in 2019, which they would take office 2020. So this permits people to understand and to know what the salaries for those positions are. And if they're interested, they can file petitions, which usually have to be filed by about sometime in February, so 90 days before the May primary. So that's why all of this is occurring at this time. Okay, continue on. Next, we have a salary for the auditor for a term commencing January 1, 2020.
An ordinance establishing the salary to be paid to the auditor of the City of Greenville, Ohio for the term commencing January 1st, 2020. This ordinance adopts annual wages for the position of auditor for the term commencing January 1st, 2020. The wages are based upon a Finance Committee report accepted at the December 4th, 2018 meeting.
Move to suspend the rules and read this ordinance by second and third time by title only.
Motion, Mrs. Haudashell, to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title, second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Haddashell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
An ordinance establishing the salary to be paid to the auditor of the City of Greenville, Ohio for the term commencing January 1st, 2020. An ordinance establishing the salary to be paid to the auditor of the City of Greenville, Ohio for the term commencing January 1st, 2020.
Move to adopt the ordinance.
Motion, Mr. Rogers, to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Haddashell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
And next, we have an ordinance establishing salary to be paid to the law director for the term commencing 2020.
An ordinance establishing the salary to be paid to the law director of the City of Greenville, Ohio for the term commencing January 1st, 2020. This ordinance adopts annual wages for the position of law director for the term commencing January 1st, 2020. The wages are based upon a Finance Committee report accepted at the December 4th, 2018 meeting.
Move to suspend the rules and reading this ordinance by title only, first and second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title, second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll.
Haddashell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
An ordinance establishing the salary to be paid to the law director of the City of Greenville, Ohio for the term commencing January 1st, 2020. An ordinance establishing the salary to be paid to the law director of the City of Greenville, Ohio for the term commencing January 1st, 2020.
Move to adopt the ordinance.
Motion, Mr. Rogers, to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll.
Haddashell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Next, we have an ordinance establishing salary for the 4 ward councils, council members, commencing January 1, 2020.
An ordinance establishing the salary to be paid to ward council members of the City of Greenville, Ohio for the term commencing January 1st, 2020. This ordinance adopts annual wages for the position of ward council for the term commencing January 1st, 2020. The wages are based upon a Finance Committee report accepted at the December 4th, 2018 meeting.
Move to suspend the rules and give this ordinance a reading for second and third time by title only.
Mr. Whitaker to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title, second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll.
Haddashell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
An ordinance establishing the salary to be paid to ward council members of the City of Greenville, Ohio for the term commencing January 1st, 2020. An ordinance establishing the salary to be paid to ward council members of the City of Greenville, Ohio for the term commencing January 1st, 2020.
Move to adopt this ordinance.
Motion, Mr. Haudashell, to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll.
Haddashell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
And next, we have an ordinance establishing a salary to be paid to the Assistant Law Director beginning January 1, 2019.
An ordinance for retention and compensation of Assistant Director of Law effective January 1st, 2019. This ordinance established compensation for the position of Assistant Director of Law effective January 1st, 2019.
Move to suspend the rules and give this ordinance its second and third reading by title only.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title, second and third time. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Addishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
An ordinance for retention and compensation of Assistant Director of Law effective January 1st, 2019. An ordinance for retention and compensation of Assistant Director of Law effective January 1st, 2019.
Move to adopt this ordinance.
Motion by Mrs. Haudashell to adopt the ordinance. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Addishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
And I might note that that is an appointed position, not an elected position, so that's why it's changing in January 1 of 19. Next, we have an ordinance establishing salaries, wages, and various employees of the city of Greenville not covered by wage agreements.
An ordinance establishing salaries and wages for the various employees of the City of Greenville not covered by wage agreements. This ordinance establishes wages and salaries for temporary seasonal employees. This is needed due to the increase in minimum wage in 2019.
Move to suspend the rules, give this ordinance second and third reading by title only.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title, second and third time. Discussion? Call the roll.
Addishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
An ordinance establishing salaries and wages for the various employees of the City of Greenville not covered by wage agreements. An ordinance establishing salaries and wages for the various employees of the City of Greenville not covered by wage agreements.
Move to adopt this ordinance.
Motion by Mrs. Haudashell to adopt the ordinance. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Addishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
And next, we have a resolution authorizing the use of internet auctions for disposal of personal property for 2019.
A resolution authorizing during calendar year 2019 the use of internet auction pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 721.15D for disposal of personal property. This resolution authorizes the use of internet auction for disposal of municipally owned personal property which is not needed for public use in calendar year 2019.
Move to suspend the rules and read this resolution second and third time by title only.
Motion by Ms. Haudashell to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title, second, third time. Discussion? Call the roll.
Haudashell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing during calendar year 2019 the use of internet auction pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 721.15D for disposal of personal property. A resolution authorizing during calendar year 2019 the use of internet auction pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 721.15D for disposal of personal property.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Haudashell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Next, we have a resolution authorizing the disposition of no longer needed fire department motor vehicle.
A resolution authorizing the disposition of no longer needed fire department motor vehicle. This resolution authorizes the fire department to sell a no longer needed 2003 Ford Crown Victoria on govdeals.com.
Move to suspend the rules and read this resolution by second and third time by title only.
Motion by Mrs. Haudashell to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title, second, third time. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Haudashell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the disposition of no longer needed fire department motor vehicle. A resolution authorizing the disposition of no longer needed fire department motor vehicle.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Haudashell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Next, I have a resolution authorizing an agreement to purchase a motor vehicle to be used by the water department.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into an agreement to purchase a motor vehicle to be used by the Water Department. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to enter into an agreement with Dave Knapp Ford Lincoln Incorporated to purchase a Ford Explorer for the Water Department.
Move to suspend the rules and read this resolution second and third time by title only.
Motion by Mrs. Haddashell to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title for the second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into an agreement to purchase a motor vehicle to be used by the Water Department. A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into an agreement to purchase a motor vehicle to be used by the Water Department.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to adopt the resolution. Discussion.
Yes, is there a reason why a Ford Explorer rather than not a pickup or something?
Yeah, Gary Evans felt that the Ford Explorer would be more versatile within their department with a pickup truck and not having a cab. If they're out and about and they have equipment, and keeping it in the back could, one, it's not secured. Two, as far as it getting wet or dirt, whatever, they would just like to have that versatility of the Explorer. Obviously, there's a need for pickup trucks in that department, but the appropriation for this vehicle was approved at the beginning of the year. It actually costs less than a pickup truck, so that's why the decision was made to go this route.
Further discussion. Okay, the motion is to adopt.
Mm-hmm.
Call the roll, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Okay, next we have a resolution authorizing the agreement to purchase a Lime Progressive Cavity Pump for the Water Department.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into an agreement to purchase a Lime Progressive Cavity Pump to be used by the Water Department. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to enter into an agreement with Pelton Environmental Products to purchase a Lime Progressive Cavity Pump for the Water Department.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title, second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into an agreement to purchase a Lime Progressive Cavity Pump to be used by the Water Department. A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into an agreement to purchase a Lime Progressive Cavity Pump to be used by the Water Department.
Move to adopt this resolution.
Motion by Mrs. Haddashell to adopt the resolution. Discussion.
What's a Lime Progressive Cavity Pump do?
This pump is used in coordination with our lime slurry process. The lime comes in to the plant, the use of these pumps. We have 3 of them. We've replaced one when we replaced the lime slaker last year. We found that the cost to continually to rebuild these pumps, and the old ones need to be rebuilt almost twice a year. One, they're inefficient, and 2, the cost to rebuild, it's time to do that replacement. So that's why we're asking for this replacement. Then we'll still have one more to complete next year.
Further discussion or questions? Call the roll, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
That is something my dentist didn't request, a cavity pump. That was pretty tough, I tell you. Okay, next we have a resolution authorizing agreement to purchase, advertising for bids for the rental of the city well fields.
A resolution authorizing advertising for bids for rental of the city well field. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids for the rental of municipal lands adjacent to Chestnut Street.
Move to suspend the rules and read this resolution second and third time by title only.
Motion by Mrs. Haddashell to suspend the rules and read the resolution by title, second, third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing advertising for bids for rental of the city well field. A resolution authorizing advertising for bids for rental of the city well field.
Move to adopt the resolution?
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion.
Is that land being rented now?
It is. the aero modelers rent this property every time that it comes up for bid.
Other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Haddashell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
And next, we have a resolution advertising for, authorizing advertising for bids for water line replacement.
A resolution authorizing advertising for bids for water line replacement at Water and John Streets and Memorial Drive. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director and Water Superintendent to advertise for bids for the replacement of water lines at Water and John Streets and Memorial Drive.
Move to suspend the rules, give this resolution second, third reading by title only.
Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title second, third time. Discussion? Call the roll.
Haddashell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing advertising for bids for water line replacement at Water and John Streets and Memorial Drive. A resolution authorizing advertising for bids for water line replacement at Water and John Streets and Memorial Drive.
Move to adopt this resolution.
Motion by Mrs. Howdeshell to adopt the resolution. Discussion.
Is that gonna be a
On this
tearing up Water Street again, since it's been repaved?
So, sorry. The project is from John Street to Water Street along Memorial. So there may be a tie-in at Water Street, but this water line does not go down Water Street per se. It's from John to Water on Memorial.
Are they in the streets or beside the streets? On Memorial?
Majority of the water line is in the grass. And there will need to be a couple easements. And I have the paperwork for that, and I'll be getting that to the law director if we move forward with the project to obtain easements, because we will be working outside of the right-of-way on private property to install the curb boxes, curb shut-off.
Further questions or further discussion? So we have a motion to adopt, correct?
Correct.
Call the roll, please.
Haddashell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
And item 16, we have an ordinance to ratify the contract for the emergency communication officers.
An ordinance ratifying the collective bargaining agreement negotiated between the City of Greenville, Ohio, and the Greenville Professional Firefighters Association, IAFF, Local 1101, emergency communication operators on behalf of the city's firefighters and declaring an emergency. This ordinance ratifies a collective bargaining agreement between the City of Greenville, Ohio, and the emergency communication operators, which is necessary to ensure that the Greenville Fire Department is able to continue full emergency communication operation services with no interruption to the residents of the City of Greenville. This ordinance has an emergency clause.
Make a motion to suspend this rules on this ordinance and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules and read the resolution by title, second, third, or ordinance, excuse me, by title, second, third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Haddashell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
An ordinance ratifying the collective bargaining agreement negotiated between the City of Greenville, Ohio, and the Greenville Professional Firefighters Association, IAFF, Local 1101, emergency communication operators on behalf of the city's firefighters and declaring an emergency. An ordinance ratifying the collective bargaining agreement negotiated between the City of Greenville, Ohio, and the Greenville Professional Firefighters Association, IAFF, Local 1101, emergency communication operators on behalf of the city's firefighters and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt the emergency clause.
Motion by Mrs. Howdeshell to adopt the emergency clause. Discussion?
This is
On the
not time.
emergency?
No, I'm sorry. Never
Okay.
mind. I jumped.
Discussion on the emergency clause.
I jumped.
Okay, all right. Call the roll, please.
Haddashell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Need a motion to adopt.
To adopt. Oh,
Motion by Mr. Godwin to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Now,
The ECOs doesn't do police department either?
I'm sorry?
Does the ECOs do the police department also?
Police and fire.
ECOs are our city dispatchers. They're represented by the fire department union.
Okay. Okay. That's what I wanted the clarification on.
Okay.
Further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Hoddeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
And finally, huh? Oh, I'm sorry.
Eh,
Wait a minute.
No, no, I don't.
No.
I'm sorry.
That should be it.
I'm ahead, yes.
One more. Wow. Okey-doke. The last one is the ordinance for the ratifying the contract for the street department maintenance workers and declaring an emergency.
An ordinance ratifying collective bargaining agreement negotiated between the City of Greenville, Ohio, and the Greenville Maintenance Employees Association, Local 3884, American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Ohio Council 8, AFL-CIO, on behalf of the city's maintenance worker and declaring emergencies. An ordinance ratifying a collective bargaining agreement negotiated between the City of Greenville, Ohio, and the Greenville Maintenance Employees Association, Local 3884, American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Ohio Council 8. I'm sorry, I started reading that twice. This ordinance ratifies a collective bargaining agreement between the City of Greenville, Ohio, and the Greenville Maintenance Employees Association, which is necessary so that the maintenance employees are able to continue full maintenance services with no interruption to the residents of the City of Greenville. This ordinance has an emergency clause.
Move to suspend the rules, give this ordinance second and third reading by title only.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title second, third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Hoddeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
An ordinance ratifying the collective bargaining agreement negotiated between the City of Greenville, Ohio, and the Greenville Maintenance Employees Association, Local 3884, American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Ohio Council 8, AFL-CIO, on behalf of the city's maintenance workers and declaring an emergency. An ordinance ratifying a collective bargaining agreement negotiated between the City of Greenville, Ohio, and the Greenville Maintenance Employees Association, Local 3884, American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Ohio Council 8, AFL-CIO, on behalf of the city's maintenance workers and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt the emergency clause.
Motion is by Mrs. Howdeshell to adopt the emergency clause. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Hoddeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Move to adopt the ordinance.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll.
Hoddeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Wow. That concludes our words and resolutions. You did very well. You're allowed to pause and get a drink of water if you like. We have nothing under old or new business. Do we have items of communication?
Monthly reports were received from the fire, street, and transit departments. Minutes from the September 26, 2018 CIC meeting were received. A $200 donation was received from the Dark County Foundation in appreciation of the city's support of the annual Sunshine 5K event. And a Cities and Villages magazine was received for December for the Ohio Municipal League. These reports, minutes, donation, and magazine were distributed to council.
Send those over to the mayor. He's got lots of homework tonight. Okay, any other, I do have a need to excuse the absences for the month of December.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to excuse the absences for the month of December. Discussion, call roll.
Hoddeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Nothing further, let's call down the council.
Mrs. Hoddeshell?
Well, it's that time of year again, everybody being looked at to be seen who's naughty or nice by Santa. So let's all be nice. and be careful over the holidays, and Merry Christmas to everyone. And with that, I pass.
Mr. Rogers?
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone. Pass.
Mr. Whitaker?
I want to thank the city of Greenville people, the citizens who elected me. I've been in office for a year now. It's been an honor, and I just wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Mr. Wright?
I'd like to wish citizens also of the city of Greenville and the citizens here tonight, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'll pass.
Mr. Godwin?
Yeah, same. Wish everybody a Merry Christmas and hope everybody has a safe and happy New Year. That'll pass.
Mr. Hensley?
Merry Christmas to everybody, and I will pass.
President Burkett?
Oh, I'm going to take a little time. Since Mr. Mayor let the cat out of the bag, my wife was fortunate enough to be drawn as one of the window recipients, window number 2, I believe it was, from various merchants downtown, and received a number of very nice gifts for that. And with that, when we went to pick up the window or the prizes at the Visitors Bureau and Main Street, Greenville, there was a huge plastic tub in there. And I mean, it was big, and it was like 2/3 full of those little tickets that everyone filled out. Now, if they haven't come up with an exact amount, but it amounted to several thousands of dollars worth of merchandise that was purchased throughout the Greenville and all the participating entities. So I think that speaks very well of people shopping locally. And we were just fortunate. There were 3 other prizes given as well. And it was a very nice effort by the Main Street Greenville. And thank them all for that and for coordinating it, because it means a lot to citizens of Greenville. Also like to offer congratulations to one of our retiring employees, Patty Klosterman, out of the Utilities Department. I think Friday was her last Friday was her last day. So wish her the best. And as Mr. Tryon knows, I'm the old guy, and another one of my former students has retired. So that just makes me a lot older as time goes along, I guess. Anyway, that was good. Also, this last Saturday, I'm going to give a little plug here to the local chapter of the Daughters of American Revolution, and Debbie Nisonger, who is the regent, as they're called, like the president. The DAR chapter participated in the Wreaths Across America this last Saturday at Greenville Union Cemetery. They put out nearly 300 wreaths on grave sites, and I'm sure next year that will be expanded. This was the first time here in Greenville. They do it annually, have the last couple of years, in Arlington National Cemetery, and it takes 65 semis to take all of the wreaths into the National Cemetery. Think about that. We had close to 300 here in Greenville. If you get a chance, drive by the cemetery and look. It's very impressive, and it's really nice. And there was a ceremony beforehand, and then a lot of volunteers braved the rain, sludged through the wet grass and everything at the cemetery, but they did the job. It took them about an hour and a half, but it really looks nice. So thank you to them for doing that. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish all of our employees and the people here that make the city run, all of our department heads, everyone, and the citizens of Greenville, a very Merry Christmas, and hope you have a happy and prosperous and safe New Year. And again, I want to reiterate how nice the city looks. I mean, as you drive around, it's festive and it looks good and it looks like Christmas. So have a merry and a happy. And with that, I will pass. And
Motion to adjourn?
Motion of Ms. Haudashell to adjourn. Call the roll, please.
Hoddeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Thank you all very much for your attendance. Good night.